Hello everyone. Today we have Simon Harris, who's globetrotting again. This time he's off to Brussels for a European leaders meeting for the last number of days. It's interesting because this comes on the back of the European Foreign Council meeting during the week where David Lammy attended. And this incidentally coincides with a NATO meeting with their new Secretary General Mark Rutte, who is the ex-Prime Minister of the Netherlands. And in attendance will be Lloyd Austin, the US Secretary of State for the Military Industrial Complex, or Raytheon Military Industrial Complex, you might add as well, so-called defence. Now this comes back on the European Union that's in complete crisis mode for a number of factors, and I want to go into this in a little bit of detail in terms of what crisis is unfolding for the European Union. First of all, I want to talk about the Middle East. Now, there are issues in the Middle East at the moment, obviously around what's going on with Lebanon, with the incursion and invasion by Israel into Lebanon, and the confrontation we saw a number of weeks ago with the Irish UN Defence Force members that were located there. Now, Ireland have been taking a strong stance. People, not the government. The government have been complete and utter lapdogs for the establishment, allowing over 9 flights to go over and use Irish sovereign airspace from the United States with weapons and munitions on the way to war in the Middle East. And also, it's very fascinating to see that the Irish government now are jumping up and down saying there has to be sanctions against Israel in terms of pushing forward the Occupied Territories Bill, which was sitting on a shelf in the Oireachtas for the last number of years rather than pushing it through and implementing sanctions against the illegal use of settlements in terms of the annexation of those settlements, which has recently been subject to an International Court of Justice ruling as well. So the Irish government now are deciding, well, to do something and jumping up and down about this Occupied Territories Bill, even though they deliberately blocked it. And it was with phone calls from Israel to Pascal Donoghue as well. So it's absolute nonsense from the Irish government, a bit of grandstanding, bit of PR, more spin doctrine, and there is factions within the European Union breaking out over this as well, because we've seen countries move towards the position of the Irish people, I won't say the Irish government, in terms of countries like Spain, Slovenia and Belgium, and other countries on the other side that are very much on the pro-Israel side in terms of Germany, Austria, Czechia as well, and a few others. So there is huge disagreement in the European Union over these issues as well. And of course, it's about trade deals. It always comes down to money. And let's see how this develops again. But again, this demonstrates the huge differences that are currently at play in the European Union. Now, it's not the only thing, because Ukraine is the next case in point. This, where the Irish government, instead of looking for peaceful settlements of international disputes, they've been fully square and will support Ukraine as long as it takes by giving more money, giving our members of the defence forces to work in terms of demining capabilities with the Ukrainian army as well, and huge involvement in terms of erosion of Irish neutrality. And this has been blocked. A lot of money has been blocked by Viktor Orban in Hungary. Of course, Michael McGrath is going to be targeting Viktor Orban over the next period of time. You'll see that coming pretty soon. Michael McGrath's new brief in his role as European Commissioner. And Viktor Orban has been stopping the payment of over €6 billion to Ukraine because of the reliance on unanimous decisions. Now this is interesting because today Zelensky gave a big speech in front of all those leaders and he proposed his victory plan. Don't laugh. He proposed a victory plan, and part of this victory plan is an invitation to join NATO. It's all backed up by the Belgians as well, who are supporting this to join NATO, about getting more arms supplies and the use of long-range weapons as well into Russia, looking for a wider escalation in this conflict as well. And of course they're going to say they're going to have bolstering EU security and troops and the military-industrial complex in Ukraine over the next number of years. This is what his deluded plan is. But while Europe is imploding because of the immigration chaos on the fallback of this, the economic chaos because of this also as well, with the higher energy costs because of the explosion of the mysterious explosion of the Nord Stream. We all know who was behind that. Look up Seymour Hersh, Pulitzer Prize winning investigative journalist. And of course, trying to build a wall in Ukraine, which is going to ferment a new Cold War. Absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. But more and more of our public money is going to be pushed towards this propaganda rather than seeking peace. That's what Ireland should be standing up for. But of course, there is differences within the European Union over this, as I said, with Hungary, which is causing major issues from the European Union standpoint of this whole neoliberal project. And also there was a meeting on migration. Now this is very interesting because this was chaired by Giorgia Meloni, the Italian Prime Minister, and this comes on the back of the issues around the pushback against what's happened internationally against, and Europe-wise, against the immigration chaos. During that meeting, it was chaired by Meloni. Frederiksen also chaired that meeting as well, co-chaired it. He's the Prime Minister from Denmark. And the Netherlands Prime Minister also co-chaired that. And in attendance with other countries from Czechia, Cyprus, Greece, Hungary, Malta, Poland, Slovakia, Austria. No attendance of the Irish Prime Minister in the migration discussions. Isn't that interesting? Simon Harris doesn't see a major issue with the immigration chaos created in Ireland, so didn't attend the meeting that was being held on it. Absolute, just shows you who Simon Harris serves and what he's interested in. So while he's jumping up and down and claiming he's doing what he can for the people of Ireland internationally as well, it just shows you he's a complete and utter cowardly lapdog for the elites in Europe. But Europe is under serious pressure. You see the migration issues with Germany, even with Poland closing the eastern border as well, and Germany pushing back again what's going on. But things are changing, and the European Union project is under serious pressure in terms of the internal divisions created by their policies, the relentless drive for cheap labour, super profits for the big corporations, and not to mention the warmongering agenda as well, the imperial agenda of the European Union at the behest of the United States as well. While the meeting of NATO was on, it coincides with the meeting of the European Union leaders in Brussels, right across the street. Mark Rutte, ex-Netherlands Prime Minister, moves into the position of Secretary General of NATO, one and the same. Where does one end? Where does one start? It's the question to ask. And also there's other countries there from Australia are in attendance there today as well with NATO, and Korea Republic as well. So interesting times, and we'll see how this develops. So thanks all for the support with my videos, really appreciate them. And please press subscribe to my YouTube channel. Slán, take care, bye bye.